The rain had started early that morning, soft and steady, washing the dust off the old town like a quiet blessing. Main Street was nearly empty except for a few parked cars, a flickering neon sign that read Molly's Diner, and a lone wheelchair rolling slowly down the sidewalk. The wheels squeaked with every push, a sound that blended with the rhythm of the rain. Inside the diner, the air smelled of coffee, bacon, and faint memories. It was one of those places that looked stuck in time. Red leather booths, checkered floors and walls lined with photos of smiling locals from years gone by. The girl in the wheelchair paused outside the door, gathering her courage. Her name was Lily Carter, 21 years old, bright eyes behind silver-rimmed glasses, and a heart that carried both pain and light. She had been in a car accident 2 years ago, one that took her ability to walk and her father's life. Since then, she lived quietly with her mother on the edge of town, doing her best to survive the stares, the whispers, and the pity. She pushed open the door. The bell above it chimed softly. "Morning, Lily," called Molly, the owner, a kind woman in her 50s, wiping the counter with a towel. "Your usual?" Lily smiled. "Yes, please. Hot chocolate, extra whipped cream." She rolled herself toward her favorite booth near the window, the one where she could see the world go by. Outside, the rain drew tiny rivers down the glass. Inside, the diner hummed softly with the sound of frying pans and low music from an old jukebox. For a moment, Lily felt normal, safe. Then the bell over the door jingled again. 3 figures stepped in, loud and laughing, the kind of laugh that didn't carry joy but mockery. They were teenagers, maybe a little older than Lily, dressed in varsity jackets from the local high school. The ringleader, Travis, was tall, broad-shouldered, with a smirk that looked permanently carved into his face. His 2 friends, Derek and Mason, followed close. Behind. "Look who's here," Travis said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "It's little Miss Wheels again." Lily's smile faded. She kept her eyes down, pretending not to hear, stirring her hot chocolate. Molly glanced up from behind the counter. "Knock it off, Travis. You know the rules. No trouble in my diner." Travis shrugged innocently. "What? I'm just saying hi. Ain't that right, Lily?" Lily didn't answer. She'd learned that silence was safer. But silence also invited cruelty. Travis stepped closer, his sneakers squeaking against the tile. "You know, you could at least thank me for holding the door open last week." He leaned down, smirking. "Oh, wait. You didn't even notice, did you? Too busy rolling your way out of Pity Town." Derek snorted. Mason laughed under his breath. Molly's voice cut sharp. "Travis, sit down." But Travis didn't move. He was enjoying the attention, the way the other customers pretended not to look, afraid to get involved. Bullies loved an audience. Lily's hands trembled slightly as she lifted her mug. "Please," she whispered. "Just stop." "Or what?" Travis grinned. "You gonna run me over with your fancy chair?" The laughter was cruel, sharp enough to slice the quiet air. Molly started to come around the counter, but Travis was quicker. He snatched the mug from Lily's hands and spilled it onto the floor. "Oops. Guess you dropped it. Clumsy, huh?" The sound of breaking porcelain echoed like a slap across the room. Lily flinched. Tears filled her eyes. "Why are you doing this?" she asked softly. Travis leaned down, his face inches from hers. "Because people like you need to remember your place. You think everyone feels sorry for you, but truth is—" He didn't finish. Mason was watching the door, nervous. "Dude, let's just go," he muttered. "This ain't cool." But Travis wasn't done. He sneered. "You shut up, I'm teaching her something." He straightened up, and before anyone could move, before Molly could stop him, he slapped Lily across the face. The sound cracked like thunder. Every soul in that diner froze. Lily gasped, her hand flying to her cheek. Tears streamed down her face as silence swallowed the room. Even the jukebox seemed to stop. Molly screamed, "GET out, now!" But the boys laughed. Travis most of all. "Fine, we're leaving. Not like she's going anywhere anyway." He kicked the broken mug aside and walked out, pushing the door so hard it slammed against the wall. The bell jingled again, cruelly cheerful after what had happened. Lily's hands shook. She didn't cry loudly, she just sat there, tears falling silently onto the table. Her world, already heavy, now felt unbearably small. Molly knelt beside her, voice trembling with anger and compassion. "Sweetheart, I'm so sorry. I should have—" "It's okay," Lily whispered. "It's always like this." "No, it's not okay," Molly said. "Not anymore." She looked toward the door, her eyes fierce. "Those boys think they can do whatever they want, but one day they'll learn." Lily didn't answer. She just stared at the rain. It blurred everything outside, like even the sky was crying for her. Minutes turned into an hour. Molly tried to cheer her up with pie and another cup of cocoa. The few customers who'd seen what happened left quietly, ashamed they hadn't intervened. And then the sound came. Low, deep, powerful, the rumble of engines. It started faint, far away, then louder, a chorus of growling motorcycles cutting through the rain, growing closer with every second. Heads turned toward the window as the reflections of headlights danced against the glass. Molly's heart skipped. "Oh boy," she muttered. One by one, 5 massive motorcycles pulled into the parking lot. Their riders wore black leather jackets with patches that read Iron Souls MC. The rain hissed against the chrome as the bikers dismounted, their boots heavy against the pavement. Lily looked up, startled. The diner door opened with a slow creak. The bell jingled again, the same cheerful sound. But now it felt different, heavier, stronger. The first biker walked in, tall, broad, his beard streaked with grey. His name, stitched on his vest, read Bear. Behind him came others, Tank, Ghost, Ryder, and Knox, all rough-looking, all silent. Molly blinked. "Well, this is new. Haven't seen you boys in months." Bear nodded politely. "Road took us far. Rain brought us back." His voice was deep, calm, the kind that made everyone listen. Then his eyes fell on Lily. She tried to smile, but her red cheek told the story she couldn't speak. Bear frowned. "What happened?" The diner went quiet again. Molly hesitated, then said softly, "Some punks came in, messed with her. One of them hit her." The air in the room changed instantly. Every biker's expression hardened. Ghost clenched his fists. Knox's jaw tightened. Bear looked toward Lily, his voice low but filled with steel. "You got names?" Lily hesitated. "It's okay," she whispered. "Please, just let it go." But Bear shook his head. "No, sweetheart. No one lays a hand on someone who can't fight back. Not in our town." Outside, thunder rolled again, or maybe it was just the echo of the engines cooling in the rain. Inside the diner, the Iron Souls exchanged silent looks, the kind of understanding only brothers forged on the road could share. Bear turned to Molly. "You still serve coffee?" Molly nodded. "Always." "Good," he said. "Pour us 5 cups. We'll wait." "Wait for what?" she asked quietly. Bear's eyes flicked toward the window, where the rain had started to ease. His voice came like a storm about to break. "For the boys who think the world belongs to them." Lily's breath caught. She didn't know whether to be afraid or relieved. All she knew was that something had changed. The air, the silence, even the light. For the first time in a long time, she didn't feel alone. As the bikers sat down, the camera of fate zoomed in on her trembling hands resting on the table, the faint reflection of their jackets visible in her cocoa's surface. Outside, the last drops of rain fell, and the sky began to clear. But deep down, everyone in that diner knew the real storm hadn't even started yet.